Are you considering relocating to Raleigh, but first trying to identify if it would be best for you to just purchase right out the gate or rent first? In this video, I'll be sharing with you the pros and cons of purchasing and renting here in North Carolina. And also, if you're a numbers person like myself, I'll be sharing with you an Excel sheet that will help you as well. Now, if you're new to me, in this YouTube channel, we talk about everything you need to know about Raleigh, North Carolina. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out. But also, I am a licensed realtor here, so if you do need any assistance with your relocation needs, just reach out. So a common question I get is, hey Ronnie, should I purchase or should I just rent? And honestly, I am not in a position to tell you what to do because I don't have all your information, the financials and all that sort. So if you have a CPA, a financial advisor, or just someone who helps you with money, that individual will be the best person to speak to. However, I'm going to provide you with as much information as possible to help you make a decision, starting with what are the average rents and of course, what are the average home prices in the area. Starting off with a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and this is considering condos, apartments, townhomes, single family. It's just kind of bunched all together. So there's going to be a wide range of numbers here, but it's going to be $1,500 approximately for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, or a 2-bedroom, 2-bath kind of thing. As far as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, again, condos, townhomes, apartments, I mean, you name it, you're looking more about $1,850 approximately, right? And to provide you with a little bit more information, you can actually see how rents have gone over the past 2 years or so in this area. But let's go ahead and talk about the home price, which we're sitting at about $515,000, depending on, of course, when you watch this video. And that is, of course, considering all types of homes. So, of course, if you have a lot less wants and needs, of course, that number is not going to be 515. But that's just to give you an idea. And if you don't believe me, that is okay. In the past 2 years, I'll show you guys exactly what's been going on with the prices, so you guys can see here in the Raleigh area what has been occurring for prices to give yourself a better idea. Now you may be saying to yourself, well, these prices are crazy. I'm not purchasing at these prices. In fact, I'll wait for the crash. But I want you to keep in mind one thing. You can do that. You can do whatever you please. But don't forget that supply and demand is a thing here. And at this current moment, there is not as much supply. So prices honestly will probably be relatively stable or continuously rise, depending on, of course, how things get. So as long as you're comfortable with sitting with that idea, do as you please. And then you can't forget the amount of apartment complexes that are in this area. It's overwhelming, I will just say. So you have a lot of choices to choose from when it comes to apartments. So that's a good thing on that end. But when you look at single family homes, or actually just homes in general, home ownership, that's where things get a little bit tricky. And before we get into the Excel sheet sharing whether it's going to be best for you to rent or purchase, I want to be able to share with you guys a few tips and tools of things that you guys can use to, if you are looking for a rental, what you could possibly do. First off, I will say apartments.com has always been my best friend when it comes down to rentals, so go that route for sure. There's also another source, HotPads. I mean, you can always go to your Zillows, your realtors. You can do all of that. If you're looking for more of a tailored search for you, you're looking for a private homeowner, then this is when I recommend you just reach out to me and let me know what are your wants and needs. That way I can curate that list for you and be able to send it out. But personally, I don't have too much to say on the rental side because I do not work heavily on that side of the business. I can provide you with some of the things that I've learned and I at least went through. So those are some of the things to get you started. Because the goal is, well, I hope it is for you, it's home ownership. And you may be asking yourself right now, well, I'm still conflicted between deciding whether I should rent or buy. Honestly, just when we get to the Excel sheet, you'll really be able to understand it. But really, just look at the numbers in terms of your monthly payments. That's the easiest and the best way I've found it to make the most sense without complicating the equation even more. If the monthly payment is something that you're able to do and you're comfortable with it, forget everything else. Just move on with your journey. Because you can always make adjustments to your payments, like refinancing if that option does come available to you, to lower it, or take cash out. I mean, there's so many things you can do with real estate. So that's why it's important. Just look at the monthly payments at the current moment. And if that is something that you can sustain for the longevity of it, then you're rocking and rolling. Because even if you don't like what you see right now and you're stuck and you're like, oh, things have changed for you, you can always sell. Right? You're in an area, right? You're at least looking in an area that is constantly growing. So you tell me what you think is going to happen when you decide to sell. But that's the beauty of home ownership. You'll get built up equity, ownership, tax advantages, and fixed costs. For instance, I'll share this story with you guys because this happened not too long ago. And this is a reoccurring event that happens constantly in real estate. individual reached out to me initially. It was like, hey, I'm looking to rent. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll help you out. Help the person out. The person's now relocated here. And not too long ago, get another phone call. I was like, all right, yeah, this renting stuff is just not for me. I actually want to move into a home because I think that is going to be better for me and my situation financially. Because if you really look at the numbers, sometimes what you're paying rent is exactly what you can pay in your mortgage. And I just think that most individuals, they want that flexibility, which is perfectly fine. And I think that's exactly what this individual wanted. Wanted maybe to test the area out a little bit to get a feel of it, which is why I always recommend, always take a trip to see for yourself. That way you can feel that confidence and feel good making a decision like that. But this happens all the time where individuals will say, I want to rent, and next thing you know, everything changes. So if you ever find yourself in those shoes trying to decide between the one or the other, the Excel sheet should help. But if that doesn't help and you need a phone call, you need to speak to me, you want me to walk you through the different scenarios of things that you can possibly do, you see that number that is popping up right there? Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing. I got your back in this market. Because one thing for certain, you should never pressure yourself or feel pressured into purchasing anything that doesn't make sense to you, which is why we're going to go and tap into the Excel sheet and give you guys a visual of what exactly this Excel sheet provides you with so you can know and make better decisions on whether you should rent or buy based off of what the numbers are saying for your specific scenario. As a disclaimer, again, reach out to your financial advisor, your CPA, whoever it is that manages your money. They will have a better understanding of what exactly you should do. But looking at the Excel sheet, this is going to be within a 5-year time frame because you don't really want to be moving every year, especially if you're a homeowner, because it just cost-wise doesn't make sense. You'll lose money in the long run doing that. So, of course, over the course of 5 years, this is what this Excel sheet is really going to be covering. But if you find yourself wanting or needing to move relatively every other year or so, then yes, just go rent, because then you have that flexibility there. So if this is an Excel sheet that you would like to add to your repertoire, just make sure to reach out to me via email and put in the subject line something real quick, rent versus buy, something quickly so I know exactly what it is and I can get it out to you as quickly as possible. Or if you want to keep things simple, you can just simply use the price to rent ratio. And honestly, how this works is really easy. If you just go and see the median rent price over the median home price, or just whatever numbers that you're working with specifically, if those numbers are in between 1 to 15, you are good to go to buy. If those numbers are 16 to 20, you might want to rent, and even 21 and above, you might want to go rent. Depending on your area, of course, you can use those metrics as a way to guide what is a better decision for you. And if you want to see how does Raleigh compare nationally to the cost of living, I did a video where I compared the national cost of living to Raleigh and even some cities specifically, where you can do that as well to see how does it really compare. Now I gotta ask you, did you really think I was gonna tell you exactly what you must do? Honestly, that answer, should you rent or buy, is very subjective to you and your scenario. So if you want guidance, I can definitely help you get more clear on which direction you should go, but I ultimately cannot make that decision for you. There's always going to be advantages to both sides, and it all depends on what is it that you would like for yourself. And the only suggestion that I would make if you're considering renting for a year or two and then purchasing later is I highly recommend speaking to a loan officer and just kind of get a feel of where you are currently so that you know exactly what you must do in order for yourself to be prepared to purchase when that time does arrive. Oftentimes I see individuals say, yeah, I'm going to rent now and purchase later, and then they just continuously kick the can down. So if it's really a goal for yourself, make sure you do put those steps in order in place so that you can make sure you can find yourself in that place that you want to be. But I'm curious to hear, for those of you all that are still watching, what are you considering doing? Are you considering buying, or are you just going to go ahead and rent? Or maybe I can add this one, you're going to wait till the market crashes to then decide. Let's hear it all in the comments below. But just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you guys, my name is Roney Polynice, and I am a licensed realtor here, so I would love nothing more but the opportunity to be able to assist you with your relocation needs. So you see that number that is popping up right there? Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing. I got your back in this market.